In this live stream, I'm joined by a special guest. I'm joined again by Fast Abdoul, and we're going to hear about his latest creation, which is coming soon to the Pulse Chain mainnet. So with no further ado, let me bring him up. Mr. Fast Abdoul in the house.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming back on, man. Exciting times. You've got a cool background there, which I think is a bit of a giveaway on what we're going to be talking about. How's things in your world, besides what we're going to get into in a second?
It's been pretty busy lately. There's a lot going on in the Pulse Chain, as you know. We have a lot of bullish stuff with the court case getting dismissed, and that is definitely up my streaming level. I've been on the screen a lot. Probably some people watching now have seen me before, and it's feeling pretty good. That Pulse Chain is starting to come to the place it's supposed to be, and likely we're going to see some doors open all over.
Yeah, it was nice to see the SEC dismiss that case. Obviously, price action. What did we see on a lot of the blue chips? We saw 70, 80% plus, right, in over 24 hours.
Yeah, definitely all the blue chips. And that obviously pulled up a lot of the other tokens as well, because everything's connected on the Pulse Chain. We're all in this together. But yeah, having Pulse, Inc., Hex, and Pulse X Pump in particular was insanely bullish, right? And more bullish to me still is that we could see that, the SAC wallet deployed a very, very small portion of its holdings in order to do that, which kind of means maybe it could do that again someday. I like that idea. No guarantees, not financial advice, but yeah, I'm bullish on the SAC bags.
As am I, and it's just nice to see that big kind of weight, lift off our shoulders with that SEC case now behind us. Green candles. We've had a bit of a pullback, but it's crypto ups and downs, right?
Yeah. People are trading that too. Like there's traders who watch those wallets, and they're playing the game, which is fine. There's all kinds of players on the Pulse Chain, but we've still held reasonably strong despite the current market conditions with Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is cool. I see we got Randy Alarski here, one of my favorite people. That's great.
Yeah. What up, Randy? Good to see you. I think you were streaming with him recently, right?
I've streamed with Randy multiple times. It's blurring together a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I was.
Yeah, Randy's a good guy, Last time I saw him was a few years ago in London when we were doing a meetup just before, I think it was in anticipation of Pulse Chain. And here we are 2-3 years later. Here it is. Is 2025 going to be when it rips? Well, things are looking good. And why I like talking to you, we've got a lot in common with health and martial arts and what's not, but also you like to bring utility and build cool stuff on Pulse Chain, as do I, as do we. And you have something pretty cool in the works, right?
I think so. So we're looking at launching ink printer pretty soon. I can't give you an exact date, but the code is done. The audits are done. We're just final touches, and then we're going to unveil it to the public. It won't be a stealth launch. We'll give everybody plenty of notice, so they'll have time to get their bags together and do all the learning that they need to do before they press the buttons. But it will be it will be very soon, in my opinion. There's really not much left to do except for educate people and make sure that that everybody's ready for it. So it's mostly about publicity at this point.
I think it's perfect timing. You have a lot of lending and borrowing protocols for the blue chips, and the story with the Ink token is pretty cool, right? We were talking about this backstage where it came out at the beginning. Oh, it's an incentive token for yield farming on PulseX, and then it's kind of gathered steam as its own community, own following. It hit $80, right, at the all-time high.
Huge.
Yeah. So it's definitely, and it's been called for by people. So I think it's exciting. Let's just get into the basics for people that hold Ink token. What can they do with this protocol?
Well, I think we've had that path laid out for us by the 3 other protocols that have done liquidity forks on Pulse Chain, and this is a full fork of liquidity, immutable code, no admin keys. So first there was liquid loans. You used Pulse as collateral. Then there was the Earn protocol by the Power City team, as you know, that used PulseX as collateral. And then most lately, the Flex protocol that uses Hex as collateral, again, by the Power City team. And so we're following in those great footsteps. And so that most of the same utility, all of the same utility will apply with the ink printer, except for we'll use ink as collateral to make a stable coin. You can take a loan out, a zero interest loan out against your ink. And that's just the start of the actual possible utility with this protocol, because you can, if you're, an advanced player, you could be using it as a stop loss in ink. If you're bullish on the price of ink, you could be using it as leverage on ink, like take out a loan, get the ink dollar, or the ink D, INCD will be the stable coin. And then you'll be able to use that to buy more ink and put it back in the protocol if you want. There's all sorts of great strategies that have been made by a lot of people that can basically be ported over to this protocol. So the famous haunted strategy that was first employed with liquid loans will be completely applicable with the ink printer, as well as, a dozen others that I've heard people talk about on the Pulse chain in various strategies rooms. So I think we're going to be surrounded by greatness in that these other protocols have done a lot of education. And that education, 99% of it will apply to the ink printer. There's only a couple minor changes where some things will be a little bit different. But I think the things that we've changed will make it better for the community in general, and certainly for, the performance of the protocol.
Well, as we know, that Liquidity code is robust, and it being brought over to Pulse Chain has worked in liquid loans with us, with Earn, Flex, and now with you with Ink Printer. Tell us about some of the minor changes that are going to be different to the current forks that are already out on Pulse Chain.
Well, with a Liquidity fork, it's, in my opinion, it's very unwise to make substantial changes to the code, because this code has been used many times on many chains to make stable coins that by and large have done very well. I believe this will be the 39th fork of Liquidity that I know of. The audits that have been done on the other forks, apply to this fork if you don't make a substantial change. So the absolutely only change that was made to the code of this protocol was to change the number 14 to the number 45 on one line of code. And that affects the number of days until redemption starts. Redemption is the process whereby you can exchange $1, one ink dollar token for $1 worth of ink, right? Which affects the lowest collateralized vault getting a portion of their loan paid off. In this case, we've extended that to 45 days where redemption doesn't happen. 14 is the standard, and that's what we saw on the three other forks of Liquidity on the Pulse chain. Extending it to 45 days will give everyone a really large cushion. So instead of 2 weeks, we have 6 weeks where you don't have to worry about redemption, and you'll have an option to come in heavier, put in more ink perhaps, at a lower collateralization level, take out more ink dollars, and then be able to farm with them right inside the protocol, because we'll have built-in farms right there for you day one, as well as single-sided staking for both the ink dollar token as well as the print token, which is the native staking token of the protocol.
So 45 days, a month and a half without worrying about being redeemed against.
Exactly.
You can also, like you said, single-sided staking with the print token and be getting fees in the system, and of course your stability pool as well. So many ways to use the protocol. Me and Jesse have talked about this with Liquidity forks. Yes, you can take a loan, which is obviously seems to be the main thing about these protocols, of course. But if you don't want to do that, you can be a stability provider. You can stake, you can get some print token and stake that, right, and get the fees in the system. So multiple ways to use it. Dip your toe in, find out what's best for you, do your risk tolerance and what's not. But we were talking about this earlier, that Ink had a run up of up to $80, I think, at its all-time high.
Indeed,
it's now sitting at, as we can see here, $2.26, right? So let's just hypothetically talk that a bull market comes in, we see a big run up, and the protocol's launched, not too far in the future. It could be quite a good play for many people that believe that the Ink token has a lot more left in it. And as we've talked about with other Liquidity forks and this Liquidity fork, you can take a loan against your tokens, use that as a collateral, and still enjoy that price appreciation, right?
Yes, and like a good example of that would be, let's just for slightly easier math, let's say ink was $2, and you put in $10,000 worth of ink, and you took out a $5,000 loan, a zero interest loan. You would be able to, you still have that ink path to your wallet, right? So if the price of ink doubles, you now have $20,000 worth of ink. You could pay back your $5,000 to get it back $20,000 worth of ink, or you could take out another $5,000 and be at the same collateral ratio. And then if ink doubled again from there, from $4 from $4 to $8, you could take out another $10,000 and be at the same collateral ratio, or you could pay back $10,000 and get $40,000 worth of ink in your wallet. So, that's a good example of reasonably safe leverage. If you understand what you're doing, you've read the white paper and you've watched the instructionals on these, I think a lot of the players on the Pulse chain could get their mind around that as a way to leverage their ink bags to make more money. And of course, what you do with those funds you take out is very important. If you turn it into Lambos, it's pretty hard to get back on the blockchain. But if you have it in the stability pool, which is the single-sided staking for the ink dollar, and you're making the print token essentially for free, and then you're staking the print token, and in return for that, you're getting more ink dollars on the issuance gains, as well as actual ink tokens, which is why we call it the ink printer. You could definitely improve your position substantially. I think, Matt, this protocol will probably be giving out more ink in the next couple of months than people will be earning on the PulseX farms with the reduced inflation there.
Wow. I did not know that. So if you're a fan of ink, there's so many ways to get involved with this protocol. And I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen me, Jesse, talk about this. I'm sure many people have. We've talked about it on a few streams ago. But when you do the math compared to, like, let's say you sell on a double, right? Every time it doubles, you sell. You're cutting your you're getting some profits. Cool. You haven't lost, but you're cutting your stack in half every time. Where when you just allow it to run and then you can pull out more behind it, right? You're still getting liquidity. You're still getting your gains, but you're also still holding on to your ink. And like you said, it depends what you do. If you go and gamble that on meme coins or Lambos or go to Vegas, hard to get black on the blockchain. But hopefully, if you've been watching us for a while, you're into true DeFi, you're into yield, you're doing stuff, stability pool, staking, 2FUCks, you're making yield on top of yield, basically, right?
Exactly. Compounding yield is going to be the win this cycle, in my opinion. And with the ink printer, right? Like if you've taken out all those stable coins, instead of selling ink, you took a loan against it, you took out the stable coins, and every time the price doubled, you recollateralized. So you again took out more stable coins and then staked them in the protocol or put them in one of the built-in farms to make even more yield. If the price crashed, that's your stop loss position. Like, you get to keep those stable coins. You don't have to pay them back if the price of ink suddenly drops by 80%, which is a ridiculous example. I don't think that's going to happen. But nobody is coming to collect the stable coins that you've already taken out of the protocol. So you could be in a position even where you could buy back ink at a lower price and have quite a bit more ink by token count than you had initially, just because you did have that stop loss position. I don't think that's the best use, but it is one possible use. And it's, it's certainly something that people who are cautious will probably consider. Professional traders often operate with stop loss positions. And I think this would qualify as that.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I mean, never financial advice. Everyone has to do their own research, but it's kind of, let's say you think you're near the top or at the top, right? You take a loan, maybe you have a moderate to risky collateral ratio. Again, that's up to everyone else. You have the chance of being liquidated and losing always 10% of your collateral, but also infinite upside, right? If it keeps running. So there's so many different ways to use it. But again, like you said, if the price did come down and it came down much further, you could actually buy back in and end up with more in terms of token allocation that you started the loan with, right?
Oh, quite a bit more, right? Like, it's, those stable coins are stable coins, and ideally they're going to stay at $1, which is what the protocol is intended to do. And is what the 3 other liquidity forks on Pulse Chain have successfully done. Like those 3 stable coins tend to be between 99 cents and $1.01 almost all the time. And that's, those are proof that liquidity forks have done very well on the Pulse Chain. And ink being, the next Richard Hart token in line, I really feel it completes the set which will open up other interesting strategies. There's no reason you couldn't have a strategy that uses all 4 of these liquidity forks on the Pulse chain to leverage your Richard Hart positions to potentially gain much more during the bull market. If, let's say, all 4 of these assets go do 100x, man, would I ever like to, be able to take a 0 interest loan that where I live would not be taxable. I think that may be the case for a lot of people. That sounds like it could be a win.
That's true. And just going back to what you said about those stable coins being stable, if we look at the Flex protocol at the moment, HEXDC sitting just at a hair under $1, right?
Yep.
And let's have a look at PXDC, the same. So these stable coins are stable. They're always just below or just above $1, depending on what's going on. And there's so many ways to use it, like we talked about with possible stop loss. I mean, I've got a friend who sacrificed quite a lot in the PulseX sacrifice. He needed to do some house renovations. He didn't want to sell his crypto. He ended up using the Earn protocol and timing it correctly, kind of near a bottom, getting liquidity, doing his kitchen renovations or whatever, right? It going up and him being able to pay his loan back and use it for a real world use case, which is great. But also we're still not in a blow off top, a bull market where we can really see this thing run as well. So there's that real world use case, and then there's ways to use it when taking profits or not taking profits, so to say, but also holding your asset and also getting liquidity. So it's really exciting.
Indeed. No, I agree. And that's a great example of a real world use for this. And eventually, with crypto, everybody wants to take some money out at some time. So a tool like this, where you can take out a stable coin, that eventually you can convert into fiat, via the various bridges on the Pulse chain. Like you could sell your Inc. dollar into USDC, bridge your USDC to Ethereum, bridge it out to whatever your exchange is and cash out, or use the Coast protocol to cash out straight from Pulse chain. There's definitely uses for stable coins as far as how to, get off the chain and how to get on the chain. This is going to be a good addition. More native stable coins is bullish for Pulse chain, reduces bridge risk, and definitely improves the look of the chain to have these stable coins present. So I'm happy to add this to the set of liquidity forks. I think they're all 4 of them now, including Ink Printer, are going to do very well in an up only atmosphere that I feel is coming.
Here. I mean, like, we're looking at the Go Pulse homepage now. You can, once Ink Printer's out, literally all 4 of these, Pulse, PulseX, Ink, and Hex, you're going to be able to use your tokens as collateral and borrow against those things, take a loan against those things. So for people that maybe hold Ink, they don't know too much about the liquidity forks, let's talk about how decentralized is this? Is it your keys, your coin? Let's talk about all that stuff and educate people on this.
Yeah, that's pretty important. I think liquidity itself and Ink Printer will be on the same page. Is an excellent example of of banking just between you and the Pulse chain. Like there's no real middleman here. Once the code is deployed, it's immutable, meaning it can never be changed. There's no admin keys, meaning that the founders, people that work there, well, like they can't really do anything, which mostly is good with something like this, in my opinion. Like the one thing you have to watch out for is like, well, don't lose the keys to your wallet because I can't help you. But I think with a stable coin, that is a fair trade-off. We don't want anybody to be able to mess with the vaults. Only the person who created the vault can affect their own vault. So it's literally just between you and the blockchain, no middleman. Do your own banking, be your own banker.
The good thing about DeFi is you are your own bank. The bad thing about DeFi is you are your own bank. So you've got to just take security seriously, seed phrases, hardware wallets, and all that stuff. But like you said, all of these forks, including the Ink Printer, when you open a vault, you're in control of it. No one else can touch it. No one can close it. No one can take your collateral. So be smart, educate yourself on proper DeFi practices, and you'll be good. So I'm sure people are itching to know when's this coming, when can they expect Ink Printer to be out? Any info on that?
I can give you a pretty good idea. This week I'm going to the PLS 369 conference in Vegas. I did not want to launch it when I was in Vegas. I'm leaving very shortly, so I suspect it will launch shortly after I return from Vegas next week. We'll provide a window for an announcement, so there'll be like sort of 5 to 7 days where we'll give a date that it will announce with like an exact date and a soft time on that date when the protocol will go live. So it's not, it's not going to be secret. It's not a stealth launch. It's not a meme coin. This is a tool where you can use your ink. So I want people to have time to get their ink bags ready and to read the documents for the protocol, to watch. I think it'd be smart for them to watch previous videos that you and Jesse did on Earn or Flex, because those are probably the closest things to this protocol on the Pulse chain. Almost exactly the same, to tell you the truth, except for ink, the collateral. So there's so much information out there already that's been laid down by people who really understand it that, people will be able to do their homework. So should it be, sort of in a 10 to 12 day time frame from now, I wouldn't be surprised because the code is done. The audits are done. We're really just putting on minor finishing touches and giving me time to go to Vegas to speak at the PLS 369 conference for a couple days. And then, I'll be back at work, and I think we'll be able to get this done.
It sounds good, man. It sounds around 2 more weeks, right?
That's what they tell me. The other thing I've been telling people is it's 2 weeks after the last person asks. So 2 weeks starting now. Thanks, Matt.
Well, it's exciting. Adding the missing link, right, to the blue chips on Pulse Chain. You're off to that conference, which is going to be a good time, I'm sure, for you guys and all the people you'll be meeting out with, and it's exciting. I mean, it's all, we always like to round off with a little bit of talking about what's going to happen. It's all speculation, but where do you see crypto in general and Pulse Chain going from here in early March 2025?
As far as what's going to happen in March, like that's that's a pretty short time frame, but with the recent action that we've seen from the OA wallet, from Richard Hart, and with the court case getting dismissed, there's a small rider on the writing on the court case dismissal that the SEC has 20 days to place a rebuttal or something like that if they want to amend the complaint, which I feel they would not do. Of course, I'm not a lawyer, so my opinion is worthless. But I've heard from others who are lawyers who thought that was unlikely. So if that's the case, then probably Richard's waiting those 20 days, which I think is now 17 days, before he would maybe start streaming again. 17 days from now, that puts us about the 20th of March. So my prediction based on these minor details is that the 20th of March will be a good day.
Nice. Always looks always nice to have something to be hopeful for, and especially, like you said, a lot of speculation about why he hasn't been streaming, but because of the SEC stuff. Let's hold out to the end of March and we will get our answer. So before I let you go, anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
I guess I could mention in passing that right now we're running a little contest just for fun. It's not critical to anything. You don't have to pay to get in. All you have to do is join the Ink Printer Telegram room, which I suppose I could drop in the chat here. And you'll be entered to win $1,000 worth of Richard Hart's ink as the first prize. Second prize is $500 worth of the print token, which of course doesn't exist until the protocol goes live. And the third prize is a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT Pulse Chain copy version, which is actually maybe should be the first prize because one sold recently for 33,000 Pulse and change, which is about $1,500. So there's 3 great prizes there. All you have to do is join the Telegram room, and if you join the Telegram room, you'll be entered to win.
Awesome, man. Exciting times. Well, thanks for coming on today and telling us about this, and you'll have to come back on when Ink Printer is live and update us with all the necessary information then.
That'd be great. I'd appreciate that, Matt. It's good seeing you again.
Thanks, man. And guys, for any of the live Power City dApps, you can find the correct links below in the description box. Thanks for watching today, and I will see you on the next one.